Okay.
We are live. We're back. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since we've done a stream, but the skating season is back, and so we are back. How's everyone doing?
Very excited to be back. It's feels like it's really happening. Also because I'll be going to the first competition that I'm covering this season next week, and so it really feels like it's all coming together.
Nice. I'm also very excited for the season already starting with the Junior Grand Prix and everything. This off-season seems so long. Like it didn't feel that long last year, definitely not. So very excited to be back to watching skating.
Yeah, same. I feel actually for me it felt short, but mostly I think because of the summer shows and like attending a summer show in person. I think that's why it feels like, oh, it's already Junior Grand Prix and everything, and it's like almost September. But yeah, I'm also very excited.
Yeah. So hi to both Lauras that are watching. Yeah, the summer shows have been. It's like the crumbs that we get just before the season starts. It's like a good way to sort of segue into the season, I find.
Yeah, and I did a trip this summer where I went to 3 different training camps and then to a show, and so I felt like with all of that, I felt like I was in full, skating mode for that time and doing lots of interviews and seeing all of it, and so then I was like, "Okay, well, I've seen everybody's programs, everybody's ready, it's time for the season, let's go." So it's been very cool, and there's a couple of there's a couple of skaters that I'm very excited for this year, having seen some of the new programs and just, so I'm looking forward to it.
You've been everywhere this summer, I felt like. You've spoken to a lot of people as well.
It is great to, so for those of you who were not following my extended Twitter thread of all of the adventures, this summer I went to the end of the summer training camp in Champery and got to see a bunch of the skaters that were training there, and some of their team, like Gushira Shimada and Sofia Stepchenko is now training there, which was really fun to see. But also, I did interviews with Hyung-Young Cha, who was there as well, which was super fun. And then I also did I also talked to Raphael Ezeek, Maria Elise Koyuvere. So yeah, that was a lot of fun to see them, and their training camp is always super fun because they do like hip hop performances as well as the on ice show that they do. So anyway, that was really great. Went to Bergamo. They were also having a summer camp and lots of training there, but saw a lot of their teams and all of their teams' new programs. And that was great. Went to Oberstdorf. Saw some of their folks there. Not everybody who trains there was there when I went, but I did get to see the ISU Paris seminar with a bunch of junior teams. That was a lot of fun too. And then went to Champery again for the Sorcerer's Apprentice show that they did, and got to meet Vered in person for the first time, which was awesome. And so it was a amazing 2.5 weeks, and everyone was so welcoming. It was really fun to watch all of the practices and talk to everybody. But yeah, all of the rink directors and the coaches and the skaters were really, really kind and welcoming, and a lot of fun to be around them. So very grateful to everyone for sort of sharing what was going on in their off season with me.
Was it like a more relaxed atmosphere at the like training camps? Was it like a different one depending on where you went to? Like, I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to know for me for sure because I have not actually been to like Lombardia or Nebelhorn
Right.
Trophy before, and so it was funny for me going to those two rinks, not for the competition, but for just off season. It was really interesting seeing how, you know, the vibes are different in the different rinks and like not they were all, it was all good, but it's just you know, cultural differences and different attitudes. And I think part of that was that, like, for example, in Champéry, it was mostly younger skaters, like with the exception of Koshiro, who was kind of being the like team leader, which was fun to watch. And because Dennis was at a show in Japan, and sort of he's usually the one who's like, "Oh yeah, I know how the ropes," and I'm showing everybody else sort of what the exercises are. But this was Koshiro this time, and it was a lot of fun watching him be like the one who was like fully into the hip hop performance when some of the other skaters were sort of figuring it out. And anyway, so that was a lot of fun. But it was mostly younger skaters. They had their top group was mostly juniors, and then they have a lot of novices. And then in Bergamo, it was really fun to be around the training because especially with all of the pair teams, there's such a great camaraderie and everyone is really just they were very friendly and like a lot of the teams are people that I'd talked to before. And so it was a lot of fun to get to catch up with everyone. But like they're all sitting around doing their warm-ups and doing their off ice training like right in the lobby, and then they've got a little cafe there. And so it's sort of you know, it's not so big there, so everyone's kind of on top of each other a little bit, but it was a very like just a really nice atmosphere. And Oberstdorf was a little different just because it's bigger. They've got 3 rinks, they have lots of different things going on simultaneously. So there's dance training happening over here, while the pair seminar was happening over here, and then there's single skaters warming up over there, and you know, lots more coaches and more people skating at different levels and stuff. So that felt, you know, um, a little bit different from that perspective. But it was cool to see the seminar. It was a small group this year. I guess in the past they've often had more senior level teams that would come, but this year it was mostly juniors. So the only senior teams were the French team, Fala and Bell, and then the Crawfords were the only seniors, and then there were a number of the Spanish and German junior skaters, and some new advanced novice teams as well. But it was kind of fun watching the teams that are in an earlier stage of figuring it out, and also having the coaches there. It was Bruno Massot and Robin Sokoe and Rico Rex as the coaches, and so it was kind of fun watching, Robin and Bruno be a coaching team together, and so but they were they were doing a great job, so anyway, that was a fun thing to see and fun to see the dance teams there as well. So, yeah, anyway, it was interesting though, seeing, like, the vibes, were different in each of the places, and you could kind of see how much of an impact it makes though having like a you know where if the most like senior or like top like elite teams are really friendly and engaging with everybody else, that really trickles down. And so that was kind of fun to see how like the example that was set by like the senior world competitors was then kind of mirrored by the like junior and novice teams as well.
It's really interesting to hear about. Yeah, it's a lot of the like senior skaters that you mentioned that are in. They've always like been very nice and very warm and welcoming. So it's nice to see that they sort of, or they're sharing that, and then everyone else is sort of picking up it as well.
Yeah, and they're also the 3 rinks that I went to, they're all centers of excellence in the sort of ISU Center of Excellence training program. And so they all have a sort of self-selected like, responsibility toward doing more education and training. So they host camps for countries, you know, skaters from countries without as much infrastructure, or work on e-learning programs or send their coaches other places. And so there's all, they're all people that are interested in collaboration, and those 3 centers work fairly closely together as well. So, they have a lot of similarities from that perspective, in that they all have both some sort of national team, but also international responsibilities and intentions. And so that was also really cool. And I know some of the projects that they were talking about doing collaboratively in the future sounded really interesting as well, and like how those different centers are thinking about how they can be places that do innovation, was also a fun thing. Because at most places, everyone's kind of focused on their own skaters in this season, and like they for sure have that, but all of those coaches and administrators also, are really thinking about the sport as a whole, which is part of the reason that I was interested in going to those rinks in particular. It was also because I could then road trip around the Alps and had a lot of fun driving up some really interviewed Matteo Rizzo in the tiny little town in Medesimo in the Italian Alps, where the Bergamo team goes for their summer training. So I got to do an interview with him in front of a waterfall, which was very funny and random. But like, I did really feel like we had trekked to meet him, because you had to climb up all of these gazillion switchbacks way up into the mountains, and then like, this tiny little ski resort town. So I felt like, oh, okay, I really made the pilgrimage. But he was fun to talk to, and to meet his dog also, which was great.
Amazing. I think we'll jump into talking about shows. So I started off with, I believe, the one that came first, which is Sorcerer's Apprentice. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I don't want to offend anyone. So I'll say it's Sorcerer's Apprentice, and I believe Anna and Ferret was there.
Yeah.
You talk first. I've just been talking a while.
Yeah. This was actually my first show in in a while, and also in Europe. And the only other one I've seen was years ago. There was like Daisy's show in Japan, just because I was also there, which was great. But I don't have a lot of experience watching them live. Only like galas and stuff. So it was quite a weird experience, like compared to, especially in terms of like photography. Obviously, like on one hand, it's much more obviously relaxed. It's not competition. People don't have like nerves and everything. And everyone's really chill and having a lot of fun, like goofing off in the practices. I didn't get to see all of the practices because I only arrived like on the day of the show, but the first one, but both of these days had like mostly the ones I attended were mostly like run-throughs of the group numbers, and it was very fun to see how they also tried to improve on what they did like in the first night. On the second day, they were like running through it really like tightly. No, we have to do the so everyone moves their hand at the exact same time, and there's like a lot of different skaters. There is like some very young ones. There is like world level skaters, champions there, and people from very different backgrounds and very different experience. And it was very fun to see them all work together to create this big experience. And it was very well, I thought it was very well like built and connected to each other and executed, because there were like there were skaters who did like Kashir did his Dance Macabre program, but I think on the second night he did a longer version of like 6 minutes, and it was so completely like, and he really got into it. I thought it was really good practice, like for him, because it's his free skate, and it was last year, and I've seen it on Nebelhorn, so I saw how it grew, and it was quite amazing to see it develop. But a lot of skaters did original programs. Everything was set to beautiful piano, played by Beatrice. What's his surname?
Beirut.
Beirut, yeah, right, yeah. So, and it was just like very well interwoven into each other, and you could see they put a lot of work into like the beginning numbers, the ending numbers. That it wasn't just just we do a little practice and run through. It was very like they did a lot of practice on the choreography, so everything could run smoothly. Everything from like quite young skaters to the like the Japanese like world level champions and everything, and it was very very impressive. Honestly, I thought they did an amazing job there.
Yeah, it was so interesting seeing how much they had really just everyone was putting so much heart and effort into all of it. I just felt like you could tell how much all of those skaters from, Shoma Uno on Satoko, on down to like the little kids that were in it, just like really, really wanted Stefan to be happy with the end result. Like, I mean, they wanted themselves to be happy with it, to be good, but you could kind of tell like that he was sort of the animating force behind a lot of it. He choreographed and directed a lot of the show, as well as doing two numbers in it.
It was his like the show was like his child almost. You could feel that. And like the second day they did run through many times the ending, I think, so that everyone could be in sync and everyone could do, and everyone was trying so hard to bring this like vision that he had to life. It was very gratifying.
It was also really interesting to see how they had changed. So the final number was to Firebird, and like the idea of the story of the whole show is of this young, like the Sorcerer's Apprentice is learning and growing to be like full-grown magician, but also to be able to like vanquish the forces of darkness. And so it's all very had this sort of overcoming evil kind of theme to it, as well as all of the experiences he was having along the way. And so there was a little kid who's one of the skaters at school who was playing that apprentice at the beginning, and then by the end he has grown up to be Dennis. And so Dennis ended up feeling like, I thought in some ways even more so than like Stefan or Shoma, who were sort of top bill. Dennis got to have the solo in the final number, and to be kind of the closer of the show. And his Firebird number was so good. Even though it would have to change a lot to be a competitive program, I now really, really need it to be his Olympic free skate. So and I feel like everybody who saw it was saying the same thing. So I've said that to his coaches, but I don't. They will, I'm sure, have their own ideas of it. But it was such a good fit for him. I was really impressed. And the funny thing about it, though, was that when I was there a couple weeks before for the end of the camp, they used the opportunity of a little showcase at the end of the camp to perform this final number, because there was enough overlap of kids who were going to be in the ensemble. Like, it was a great opportunity for them to try it out. But because Dennis wasn't there, Stefan was skating those pieces. And it was so interesting to watch how different the two of them were, even in the same thing. And Stefan's interpretation was really wonderful. And I was thinking, this seems like it's so much him. I wonder how how Dennis will do with it. But then when Dennis was doing it, I was like, oh, no, this is so perfectly him. And so that was cool to see how, like, even two skaters that have a lot of similarities, like, it really made me understand how much Dennis has like grown into his own style, and is not just like, he could be doing Stefan's choreography, but he's skating it really different than Stefan did, because I saw the two of them, perform it in that way back to back. So that was a lot of fun as well. it was also really nice being in this like little tiny town, and it was part of a music festival that's hosted in the town every year. And so there was a funny combination of like, skating fans from around the world who came to see the show, and then, people who are fans of classical music who came as part of the music festival, and then just locals. And so I think that was also a big part of what made it feel so special, was that it was this like small cast. It was sort of thanking the town and the region for the support they give to the school. And so it had this like nice community feeling. And also the second night was Dennis's birthday. So everyone like sang him happy birthday, and he skated around a little bit and improvised to the birthday song. And it was very fun. So it had this very nice, warm feeling from the fans that were there, but also just from the whole community. Felt very engaged. I really hope that it gets shown on TV.
The show sounds amazing, because I haven't heard much about it, but now you guys telling us all about it, it really sounds very interesting, and I wish these types of like really in-depth and like planned storyline and everything types of ice shows were more like popular, not only in Europe but like worldwide as well. And I get what you mean by the feeling of the small town and everything, because Varese was a similar situation, and it is nice, but there's also a problem of like accessibility and like actually getting there, because Cranberry is impossible for me. So yeah, but no, I completely get what you mean, because I had a very similar feeling in being in Varese. So
yeah, I'd love to hear more about Varese. And the only thing I was going to say to finish the Cranberry show is, I know that Barrett and Chloe and I, who were all there, and Yvonne, who is also taking photographs, like the four of us are going to put together a thing about the show to publish. But I really hope that it's going to be on, I know they said they're going to broadcast on Swiss TV around Christmas, and they had a whole professional film crew. And there was a debate about, I guess it seemed like unclear at this point whether Japanese TV was going to buy that as well to show it. But I really hope that it does get shown in more places, because it was a really special thing. And they had started working on it 2 years ago, just to your point about like what it takes to build something like this. The opening number was last year's, like they previewed in last year's showcase apparently, and some of the individual numbers they started choreographing quite a while ago. And so you could see just like how much dedication and like working on it between other things that it took to be able to pull all of this together. And like that's hard to do, like especially with competitive skaters, to like have people put that much time into something.
Yeah, that's really impressive that it was like in plans for such a long time. I didn't know about that. Nice.
I'm looking forward to reading everything in full detail as well now. Like, you've made me want to watch it, even though I can't. Like, I'm really hoping the clips will be posted somewhere now. I think that's a good segue into the show that Claudia went to,
Yes.
which was the Japanese Ice Cream Gala.
Yes, I went to Varese, and yeah, first things first, like it was called Japanese Ice Cream Gala, and I feel like it could have been more, it could have been advertised better, because it wasn't only Japanese skaters. I think it was like 1/3 of all skaters were the Japanese skaters, and like everyone else was Italian. So like I feel it would have been good to like tell anyone that they are going to be there as well, because we saw some posts about I'm not gonna try to pronounce the name of the group that does the ice shows, but that like some of the cast from these group ice shows is going to be there, but like they didn't specify who. We were like suspecting that Karina Kostner is gonna be there, obviously, but we didn't know that. Or actually, maybe we did. I'm not sure if it wasn't posted.
poster or something, I think.
Yeah, Karina was, but Matteo was there, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure now. I'm not sure now if like it was said anywhere because we were like, okay, like makes sense, but what? So yeah, in that sense, we were kind of surprised, but I feel like it was much more chill atmosphere than the show in Champery. On the day of the show, we were also able to come and see the practice, and it wasn't only the practice of the Japanese team camp. We were there early enough to see the Italians skate and the group number rehearsals for the ice show. And the atmosphere during the group number rehearsals was amazing. Like everyone was cracking jokes. Obviously, I can't remember the name of the main choreographer now, but obviously he was instructing everyone in English. Nobody of the Japanese team understood anything, so like the communication was kind of took a while. But yeah, everyone was having so much fun with the group choreo, and then when they were like done with the choreo and like actual Japanese camp training session started, it was like a complete shift of the atmosphere. It wasn't like tense. It wasn't like as serious as at competitions, but you could feel the vibe in the air, kind of. Like everybody was focused on themselves. It was hard to focus on one skater because like so many things were happening at once. Everyone was doing amazing. Like this like 1 hour of the practice session, I think most of the skaters had almost every jump successful. Every run through was almost clean. They did like 3 to 4 run throughs per skater. It was very intense, and because the practice session was only for singles, so Rikuryu and Utamasa weren't there. Also, about Utamasa, they weren't listed anywhere.
I know, right?
That's also like
When you, I know. I was like, damn, like I also wish I could have known.
yeah, it was like just strangely organized in some parts. But yeah, missing
very
missing
Italian,
Utamasa, missing Utamasa on the list of the Japanese skaters was kind of bad. But yeah, the practice session was amazing. I did freeze a lot, despite having a very warm winter jacket and it being like 35 degrees Celsius outside. It was very, very cold at the rink. Yeah, it was super cold. So I left the rink and I had to stay in my jacket in like this full sunlight for another 15 minutes because I could before I could take it off. It was really nice though, seeing the practice session. And the there was then there was a little break and the show started later into the night. It was scheduled very late and it ended also very late. That was also strangely planned in terms of Varese being a very small city and the rink being very much outside of the center. It was difficult to get there. The scenery around the rink was amazing though. So that's a really nice training base for the Japanese skaters for the Milan Olympics, because I think they're gonna repeat the camp next year as well, since they called it the Olympic camp. So the scenery itself is amazing. But yeah, the show started, and it started off with this giant Suzuki car driving onto the ice. So for those of you who don't know, I was taking photos there, and I'm yet to like have them edited. But I do have some shots of the Suzuki car. But it felt like a fever dream for a second, but it really happened. Then Karolina Kostner came out wearing a red dress with a Suzuki logo on the back as well. And yeah, then in the opening like parts of the ice show, everyone from the Italian part of the crew did a little intro. The group choreo was very fun. It was pretty simple, but it was very fun to watch. I think most of the Japanese skaters did their competitive programs. The first skater was Mai with her short. It's wonderful. The music suits her very, very well. I'm very excited for her to be back in the Grand Prix circuit. Very, very happy for her. Yes, the program very well choreographed for her. It left quite an impression. It was the first performance of the night, so it was amazing, like to have this very, very strong start. After my Sota Yamamoto skated, his short program, I wasn't convinced at first by the music choice. I was kind of okay, like I will wait to see it live, but I really love it. The step sequence made me hold my breath the entire time. His jumps also look very, very solid. I hope he keeps the same energy for actual competition and not just like have the cleanest practice session ever, only to go into competition and pop jumps. So I really hope this confidence and strength stays with him. Then I can't remember like the rest of the like order of the skaters. I think the only one who didn't do his competitive programs was Shun. I think he did his new Gala. It's a very upbeat, a very like clubby song, I would say, but not exactly. It left like a very familiar feeling in me after like hearing the song and everything. And then I looked up the song because it was stuck in my mind, so I had to find it. And it turns out it's some European like early 2000s song. So I was like, oh, of course it feels like home. Like, come on. No, but it was very, very well choreographed and very also weird at first choice for Shun, but it suits him very well. So yes, that was that. I see the Kao did the Gala program. Kao did was it umbrellas? Oh, I'm not sure now. I can't remember now.
Yeah, umbrellas is his new free.
I'm not.
No, it's okay.
Is it Imagine Dragons? Oh, I can't remember now, actually. Maybe I'm just. He definitely did umbrellas in the practice session, and maybe I'm mixing those two up. Was it Imagine Dragons? I can't remember.
Oh, it sounds like Marit was there too and says that it was Imagine Dragons. But
if it was Imagine Dragons, then apologies. Maybe I am mixing up the practice session and the actual show.
But from the practice session, what did you think of that program for him? Because it seemed like a kind of an interesting choice, or like different.
Yeah, it was like. Also, I wasn't convinced at first, but seeing it live, it really suits him. especially the step sequence as well. Like, I'm a step sequence lover, so I always pay attention, and it's really well choreographed. He gets really, really into it. I think it has the potential to reach the same likability level as Beauty and the Beast. It really has the potential, in my opinion.
I think
So
it's a good choice for him to branch out. I think it could be really good for him. Yes,
yes,
haven't seen him,
true.
but
True. But I also heard that I'm not sure if the decision was set already, if he's keeping it like 100%, because I saw somewhere that he said he might change it because it was choreographed for the potential rule change, and it's difficult to like kind of randomly put in a seventh jumping pass. So I'm not sure if that's cleared up or not. I really hope he keeps it though, because it was really nice. But considering he was training it at the training camp, I think he keeps it. So also Mone Chiba did her free skate as well. I don't remember the music now, but I do remember that I saw some mixed feelings mainly on Twitter about that program. Personally, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think the music really suits her. Hana Yoshida's short program, amazing, absolutely amazing. I love her unusual music choices for her. I feel like she does a really, really good job at not really obvious music choices, and not like musics that not everyone would select for themselves. But she does a really good job, and I loved Kukufan. Loved it last season, and that new program is also amazing, and the dress is just stunning. But yeah, I'm very excited to see the development of the program throughout the season, because it's really, really strong already, and she's still very, very young. So there's really a lot to look forward to in her. My Hana Mone, okay. Kaori did her tango. She also had a very, very strong training session. Insane, especially how much power and height and speed goes into the spread eagle double axel. It was amazing to see in the practice session, and in the actual show, she popped every jump, every single one. And when she finished the program, she was so visibly like upset, but also laughing at herself. But yeah, the program itself is also amazing. I think tango is a very, very good choice for Kaori. I'm also very interested about her free skate, because it hasn't been announced yet, and I wonder about the song choice and like what kind of direction is she going in. I am not really a fan of the ending pose. I feel like it's very, very simple, because I think she just goes like that, and like she just like stands like that. That's it. So yeah, apart from the ending pose, amazing, very well timed. Musicality is off the charts. Amazing, just fantastic to see. From men's Yuma, obviously. Amazing, insane speed, insane power. I don't remember the music as well. Like, I can't remember the title, but also a very, very good choice for him. So that's singles. I see Rikuryu. I think because I have painted black, I wasn't really focused on the music, because like the soul how to say, I noticed that the music was very, very powerful and very intense, and they matched the energy with that program. Like, it's so stacked with difficult elements, it's so intense, they don't slow down. I really, really like that program. I did see also some thoughts that it's a very weird music choice. I didn't have that feeling. Like, I really liked that program, that performance, as well. Ryuichi, though, tripped and fell right in front of me. It was he was also, I think, upset about that at the very end of the program. But yeah, overall, insane. I saw them live once at the Grand Prix final, and it was amazing to see them live again. So yeah, that's that. And also Utamasa, they have the Elvis Presley program, I believe. I loved Utana's dress. Very, like, the costumes were amazing, and they really matched the energy of their song choice of the program. Really like that program. I think they also assigned to Nebelhorn trophy, so I'm very excited to see that program again, because I am going to the Nebelhorn trophy this year. So yeah, the Japanese skaters really stole the show, at least for me. But hearing the reactions of the crowd for Matteo and Carolina, you could tell that most of the arena came there for them, especially for Carolina. The reception of the crowd was very, very nice to every skater, both the Italian skaters and the Japanese skaters. I think the show is going to be broadcasted at some point. I'm not sure when. There were a bunch of cameras, like video recording cameras, and also I can't remember his name, but the On Ice Perspectives guy was there. So I'm really looking forward to his recordings of the performances. One thing also was the lighting. The lighting was amazing. Like, the technicians did a really, really good job with the lights. So especially in that sense, I'm really excited to see On Ice Perspectives videos.
Yeah, Jordan did some from the other Italian, like
Jordan.
the just standard Ghiaccio Spettacolo show in the last winter, and the videos from it were really nice. So I'm sure these will be good too.
Yes. I wish I remembered the names of the Italian skaters, but there was no way that I could even understand when they were introducing them, because I don't speak Italian, and I couldn't like make out anything of anything that I've heard. But there was a girl, I think I found her Instagram, and I have her saved somewhere, with like hula hoops, and she did such a great job. It was amazing to see. She at first she had just a bunch of the hula hoops there, and then she got this. I think they were all connected at the, like, in some parts, and she had the big thing at the very end of her performance. It was very, very impressive, especially her spinning with the hula hoops. I think spins are already difficult enough, and then you add hula hoops and like actual movement to keep the hula hoops. Yes, Violeta Afanasieva. to actually keep the hula hoops going while you spin and while you do all these other elements. So that was amazing to see.
It sounds like rhythmic gymnastics and figure skating combined almost.
Yes. Yeah, there were also group performances of the what was the name? Because you said it, Anna.
Ghiaccio Spettacolo, which is
Ghiaccio
just
Spettacolo.
means
Yes.
it just means ice show.
Yes. Yes, they were there, and they had some. Oh, we're losing Anna. Yes, they were there, and they had group performances. Oh, you're back. They were also very, very impressive. I think they did their regular performances that they also do at their own tours. You could tell that they were very, very well practiced and organized and everything. It was very the opening bit with the Japanese skaters and the ending bit with the Japanese skaters were much more chilled than the group performances, than the group performances of only the Italians. So yeah, also seeing Matteo for the first time ever since live since his surgery was great. I'm very happy that he's back on the ice and seems to be in a very good shape as well.
Yeah, when I talked to him, he said that he was almost totally back, and that was really exciting to hear. It sounds like the surgery was really successful.
That's great. That's amazing. Not only the surgery, but also recovery and everything. That's amazing to hear then.
He timed his season so well.
So true. What else about Varese?
A couple of people said Yuma's program was Sound of Silence.
Yes. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not the original, but it's also not the weird remix that I saw some people using. It's a third different thing, and it was really nice. Also at the practice session, he was only with Carolina. His dad wasn't there, and I was kind of eyeing them both especially when Carolina was giving advices and correcting Yuma in some parts. He was practicing a lot of spins, right in front of her, and they were analyzing a lot of spins. So yeah, that was amazing to see. They seem to have a really good coach-student relationship, and it's amazing to see Carolina as a coach now as well. So that's really good. Yes.
Espresso. Yeah. I'm glad that you got to see so many of the new programs though, because that's the thing that so obviously the show in Champery, they were not doing their competitive programs, but other than Koshiro. And then in the I went to see US figure skating's end of champs camp. Here's our ice show, Summer Sizzler, and it was I was surprised because I thought in the way they were talking about it that we would see a lot more of people's new season programs, and it was actually very few skaters did. Mostly people did their galas, which was fine. It was still fun to see a lot of those. I really love Amber's Olivia Rodrigo vampire program is very fun. I'm happy to see it again, but I was expecting a lot more of the, see, oh, it'll be Ilya's new program or Maddie and Evan's new program, and everybody was doing exhibition pieces. So the only a few of them were new, but we did get to see the rhythm dance for Christina Carrera and Anthony Ponomarenko, and it's really nice. And I was very excited because well, I saw Ava and Logan's rhythm dance that's very disco, and it's okay, but it seemed kind of frantic to me. I was like, ooh, this is hard to keep up like disco energy for the whole program without looking like you're kind of flailing your arms around. And so I was a little worried about it. Like, I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a lot of disco. So then it was really fun to see a program that was much more the like 60s and like some of the like Lindy Hop kind of that's not the right kind, but anyway, dancing that was more the like it seemed like it was very much in the spirit of what the theme was supposed to be, that this is like people having a social dance and having fun, and like had it had that kind of vibe. It was like, oh yes, I could imagine this being like, I don't know, teenagers like having fun at a dance in a very sort of cute way, even though like they don't, I'm not saying they seem like teenagers, but like, I don't know, it just had that feeling of like kind of like innocent fun that I feel like they were sort of going for with the theme. So I really enjoyed their performance. And then I would say the other highlights for me from the Summer Sizzler were seeing the new program for Alyssa Efimova, Misha Mitrofanov. They are doing a sort of flamenco program. I think it's a really good style for them for their short. That was something I'm really looking forward to seeing that in competition next week at the John Nix Trophy. And then mostly, like I said, everybody else was doing their galas. Isabeau's new program is very her. It seems like it really fits her very ballet, classical, beautiful style. Not sure that it's going to stretch her, but it's a much more subtle piece of music, and I think it's a much more mature program, even though it's kind of in the same vein. It feels like it's something that you choose when you've had more experience skating to the style and being able to kind of go into the nuances of it. So I actually think the choreography is lovely. Her jumps looked pretty messy. Amber looked very strong in her jumps, but again, was doing an exhibition program. So it's not like you're totally a fair comparison for the two of them. And Alyssa Liu, who I was super excited to see back, she skated to the Donna Summers MacArthur Park, which is just like a very funny thing to skate to, in my opinion. But it was nice. It was a very sweet program. Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
was afraid I was losing it for a second. But it was a really nice program from Alyssa. I mean, it's an exhibition, but it was fun, and she looked so confident. And I just really enjoy Alyssa's style now, where she's very like, I don't have anything to prove. I'm my own person. I'm doing my own thing. It's not in like an aggressive way, just in a like, I'm here. You're lucky I'm here. Just sort of like I just enjoy the vibes that she manages to give off, even while skating and doing a full program and doing beautiful triple flips. It was great to see her back. Really enjoyed that, and it was also fun to see some of the younger skaters that were there as well. I want to say like they had some of the juniors. A lot of very impressive talent. Not like it did not nobody that like super stood out to me stylistically, but definitely some very strong people. Sophie Van Felten did her triple axel, which was astonishing. She makes it look very easy. Yeah, I think that's. I think if I'm missing anybody, if anybody that folks want to know about, definitely let me know. But it was very cool. It was a fun thing to see, and I really hope that U.S. figure skating keeps doing it. The other thing I was going to say is just it was an impressive turnout for the crowd. It was like a lot more people were there than were there at the same rink for Cranberry Cup. U.S. figure skating did a good job promoting it in the Skating Club of Boston, and we're donating all of the ticket sales directly to the athletes like support fund, which again seemed like a nice way to, do a little fundraiser. If you got everybody together, do the show, make some money, promote Worlds. And so, yeah, I was encouraged from that to feel like, okay, this is hopefully, they'll do a good job with the local promotion and getting people turned out for Worlds as well.
Yeah, I noticed every athlete was posting about it on social media, which I think they should use more, like use the audience that they have a lot more. I highlighted Amy's comment saying that she's surprised it took so long for USFS to catch up onto that sort of Dreams on Ice type model, and hopefully they'll continue it in future seasons, which if they continue hosting Cranberry Cup rather in Boston, then maybe it's like a good thing to sort of do on the back of.
Champs camp in different places. I think it's often in Colorado Springs because that's convenient for people, and then that's not maybe as easy a place to get an audience. At least I'm thinking, judging on the very empty audiences for continents when I was there in Colorado Springs. But I think it's a really cool thing to be able to do that and bring people to to the different communities. And yeah, I was overall very, very impressed with it. And it was interesting also that they did, given the US figure skating music policy, that they did film and show it on YouTube, but only for 24 hours. So everything that I've read about this, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm very curious about how they're approaching that question. But I mean, I may not look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm glad that they did film it and that we got to see it a little bit, and that some of that existed. So that was cool. And I really hope they do keep doing this. I think it's a great opportunity for the skaters.
Yeah, maybe this is just like them testing out how YouTube live streams work from like that point of view as well, maybe.
Yeah, not to go too off on this topic, I'm working on an article about music copyright and trying to understand all of these different implications. And from the lawyers that I've talked to, it seems like there is not actually a real comparison between or a real difference between when you have something replayed for 24 hours versus replayed for 3 years. Like, that should be the same, in terms of making the copy and having it be available and the types of rights you need. It's like once it's replayable at all, it's in a different category versus a live stream. So anyway, I am not a lawyer, but I've been talking to lawyers, and so really I know just enough that I have more questions than I did when I started. But I'm hoping that this means that they're in the process of figuring out an approach that's going to make things more accessible, because it's really a shame that for the sort of split in half US challenger between Cranberry and John.
I don't know if that's my internet or if Anna went off.
I think I disappeared just as I was saying my final sentence anyway. So
just the last bit.
Can transition, because I was just, I know that Naomi isn't here, but she shared a few things about Cranberry Cup to add. And also Naomi was also taking pictures at the Summer Sizzler, so we'll have more of that coming too.
Yes, absolutely. Hoping to get that up sometime in the next week or so. But yeah, we have a new photographer with us, Naomi, and she said that even at this point, early point in the season, most skaters have solidified their choreography and are looking really well prepared. Sarah's short program set to River Dance really stood out. Her green dress captured the essence of the theme, and her choreography stayed true to the original. She delivered a powerful and passionate performance with strong and solid jumps, and she's excited to see how Sarah continues to develop the program throughout the season. Yeah, I think
Nice.
we're definitely grateful for the people that went to Cranberry to film from the audience and upload to YouTube. That is how skating will survive, essentially. So anyone that went to and did that, we are incredibly grateful.
I did see Lucas Broussard in the audience at the Sizzler, because not everyone was, obviously, who was at Champs Camp was performing. It was already quite long and squished together. It was very hard to live tweet it because, like, as soon as I was trying to write about one person, they were announcing the next. There was, like, not even the normal, like, gala, like, pause between people. It was like boom, boom, boom. But anyway, I got to tell Lucas congratulations on the Cranberry Cup victory, which I was extra excited about because I saw him for the first time and did an interview with him at Cranberry Cup last year, which was his senior debut, and it was a really rough competition for him. And so it was very satisfying to see him now so strong. And I'm also very glad that he kept his 4 seasons program. It's a fun kind of different arrangement than some people's. He has a lot of spring and summer and just a little bit of winter in it. And I thought that was really fun. And he has this like nice like lightness to the program that so anyway, I was glad that he kept it. And I was very grateful for the folks who were filming and sharing those videos with us.
Russell said something similar earlier on, saying love to see Lucas back to his best. Love his short program as well. I think especially after all of last season, to come back, like nail the quads, win his first competition of the season. Hopefully this is the start of a really good season for him. Elsewhere on the international, from the men's podium at least, it was Lucas Broussard won the event, Luke Economides came second, Jimmy Marr third, and Camden Pulkinen fourth, which Jimmy knows how to show up at Cranberry. I think that's become established now.
Yeah, I like Jimmy's sort of like, well, I'm here anyway. I might as well just show up and win a medal. Yeah, I'm hoping that Jimmy is it's tough because there's so many people that I would love to see make the host spot or get a spot on the Grand Prix from the US men. There's like a deep but inconsistent bench. And so I would love to see Jimmy get a spot, but I would also love to see Lucas, and I would love to see so it's a hard one, but it was good to see them both do so well there.
Yeah, I feel like every season it just gets harder and harder to like have one favorite that you want to do well, because then like someone else will come along with really great programs and you're like, oh, like you don't know who to support more.
I have a lot of respect for Jimmy Ma for like still skating at the age of 28, I believe, 29.
Yeah, I think
that's really
I
impressive. That's really impressive, and he's still doing quads and everything. So I saw him at Grand Prix Espoo last season, and he was third after the short program, and he was amazing in the short. It was mind blowing to see him there.
Yeah, he has such strong skating, and when he can keep it all together, it's really powerful. And so he's definitely another one of those skaters. You could just get 2 good programs in the same competition, he would be in that medal conversation, even at Grand Prix. I mean, I remember even at 4 Continents a couple of years ago, he was in bronze after the short and then couldn't quite keep it together. So is definitely one of those skaters. I'm like, okay, there's going to be the day that it's all going to come together. But I did actually like his short. I forgot to say that as well, that he did it in this show. And it's a very Jimmy program. It's like 2 halves. It's sort of a more serious flamenco, and then it switches into a more like club version. And I know some people dislike that. I kind of enjoy it. It's very Jimmy being Jimmy, and yeah, it was fun.
I love those versions. They're my favorite versions. So like he has a great catalogue of programs that I can rewatch. Russell said that Camden worked with Shay on his free skate.
Nice.
And also said that Jimmy always gets the crowd involved, and gave him a high five at Sheffield. The women's podium at Cranberry was Sarah Everard in first, Elise Lynn Gracie second, Isabella Vito third, and Ison Yun in fourth. Apologies if I mispronounced that name. I think there is that Skate America host spot for up for grabs, and I think Sarah's set her case really well for it.
Yeah, I remember being impressed with her last year. I think she's got really sort of big, beautiful jumps, very sort of classic style, and I'm very excited for her to sort of, like, she was in that space last year where it was like, you still seem kind of juniorish, you're still kind of figuring it out. Like, I'm excited for her, yeah, to see where she goes. Sarah, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to ask if anyone had any final thoughts on Cranberry.
No, I was going to ask you how, because you just were at a competition in person last week, and we want to hear from you about the British Summer Championship situation.
Yeah, thank you. I was at the competition. It's called the August Qualifier. It is essentially the qualifying competition for nationals, but it's also sort of the right point in the season where a lot of dance teams especially will debut their programs to get that important feedback. So only senior women and ice dance competed. There was also solo dance, which was part of the event, which was really fun to see competed in person for the first time. So of course, Lila and Lewis competed and of course won the event with their new program. So their rhythm dance, it was Stevie Wonder, as was rumored for a few months, but it's also less Stevie Wonder, more chic, Le Freak, which opens and closes the program, and then the Superstitions in the middle. And then their free dance also was rumored, but it is Beyonce, and it's 3 songs, including mostly Halo, which is like a different style for them. I think it's a more slowed down style compared to previous seasons, but they've obviously gone Beyonce, so like a big name again, but a different style, which I think is also evident in their choreography. The second place was Phoebe, Beck, and James Hernandez. They went incredibly British. They went with the Beatles rhythm dance and a James Bond free dance. So yeah, if you'll be able to guess where they're from, even if you don't know what country they're competing for, just by their programs. I really enjoyed both of them. They went with like the twist and shout in the Beatles, so they like do the moves on the ice. It's really fun to watch. The rhythm dance dress was not the final dress for Phoebe. I know a lot of people love the yellow, but it wasn't her actual costume. Her dress never came, and it was actually one she got from Zara last minute. So she managed to use that as her competitive program costume, but it's not like finalized yet.
I'm gonna cut in for a second because Sota Yamamoto left his costume in Milan. He didn't take it to Japan. He forgot it. So yeah, and the show program costume was designed based off of Benoit's vision for the costume. Like he had the idea in mind. So yeah, I hope he gets the costume back in time before Nebelhorn. But yeah, happens.
So he knows where it is. I thought he just like lost it and it's gone forever in Italy.
Well, he tweeted that he forgot it in Milan, so that could mean anything.
I mean,
there's definitely skaters from Milan going to Nebelhorn, but
you could.
Hopefully he'll get it somehow. But yeah, so there were only 2 senior events. Well, technically 3 because of solo dance as well, which the solo dance season actually just ended in July. So the senior and junior solo dancers that competed had to make programs in about 3 weeks and debuted them. And I think still did really well. There were problems with the scoring. So the scoring, like they were announced and they had to redo the scoring, redo the medals on the Friday because like scores were changed by a 100th of a point. It was so close between the senior dancers or the junior dancers rather. But it was really fun to watch solo dance. There was just one more thing I wanted to mention, which was the junior pairs. Zoe Jones's daughter, both of her twin daughters competed at the event. One in junior women and one in junior pairs. And the junior pairs, which is Zara Wood and Alex Lapsky, actually won the event. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I love that they're now on the circuit. It's really fun to see that. It's like that's the shortest time between mother retiring and child competing that we
They've actually competed at a nationals together. I think Zoe's last nationals, both of her daughters were in novice. So yeah, that was like a really cool thing to see as well.
Yeah, I love that. That's very cool.
We did have a couple of questions come through. So I'll just start with Russell asking any news on Huyck Baker. I don't believe there is. They were both teaching or like doing seminars at Champs Camp though.
Mm-hmm.
I think Caitlin was doing hers on music theory, and Jean-Luc maybe choreography, I think it was, because he was seen on the ice.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for that music theory lesson. I want to talk to Caitlin about what she was teaching because I think that's super interesting. That, but also her bringing her what she learned from being a DJ to it. I don't know. I think that would be very cool. So I'm glad they're staying involved, but it is still sad missing them.
I think she's also doing like makeup classes for skaters, which is really cool.
Yeah, there was a little part of me that was hoping we might get to see them skate an exhibition with the Sizzler because they had Ashley Kane, who was there also working with skaters, did do an exhibition number on her own, which was fun. So a little bit of me was hoping we might get them out as well, but sadly no. Just Jean-Luc introduced Maddie and Evan, I believe.
Yeah, maybe next year. You never know. Maybe next year if they do it again. There was another question on any news on Min-Sol Kwon. Strange that she's not on the Junior Grand Prix. Rumors that she's changed countries, but nothing like substantial with that.
I think she's been cited training in Canada, but that does not inherently mean that she switched countries. So I guess we will wait on that confirmation.
Yeah, but she's now with Brian Orser at the cricket club. Forgot what that was called, but she's in the cricket club now. A couple of other things, also from Russell, is the touching of the boards by the judges panel for skaters back in the season. Some skaters used it last year to some effect, and it was a crowd pleaser. I just tried looking for the rule book, and I can't find the rule book for this season, so it doesn't say that it's not in. I saw a lot of solo dancers using it, but that's also solo, so I have no idea. But I can't confirmed. But
so Ian Somerville skated a version of their rhythm dance, like on his own as a solo dance, which was really fun, but also kind of a strange choice, I thought, to do that while your partner is recovering from an injury, because especially for someone who's already kind of has that reputation of like maybe being stronger than his partner, which again, I don't think is super fair to Emily. But that aside, assume that she was fine with it and they'd work this out. But his version of their dance did have a kind of fun moment. And I don't know whether this is going to be part of their actual rhythm dance, but where he actually kicked off of the board with his toe pick as the start of the step sequence. And it was like, I've never seen that before. Are you allowed to kick the boards like intentionally? So that was kind of funny. He also ended it with a headstand. Again, another thing, I'm like, is this going to be in the actual program? It was cool, but yeah.
I did see he tweeted, hear me out, roses are red, violets are blue, the solo is fun, but it would be better with two, and tagged Emily. So, you know.
That's sweet.
It was, yeah. It's weird that USF has asked him to do it alone when there were other dance teams there, but what can you do?
Yeah, there were some of the choices about who was skating and who was not were a little funny, but then I know some people were injured or just feeling like they weren't really they didn't want to do it. So I think at least some of it was up to the skaters themselves, who wanted to participate. And they also made some last minute changes, like Emily and Spencer were on the lineup and then were taken out the day before. And I know that Valentina and Max also were thinking about it and then decided at the last minute that they were not feeling like doing their program under show lights because Max is recovering from a concussion. So it was like, maybe not. It was like, good choice.
Absolutely fair enough.
But I am excited to see that. I'm very excited to see their programs, but I think it's probably a good thing that they're waiting until the Grand Prix.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to take any sort of risks with a concussion. And then we had a comment from Samantha as well. Random thought, but what did you think of the Paris Olympics media interviewing and talking about getting athletes' families involved? Do you think they would do that for 2026? And personally, I think it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, I saw some of that, and I think that they probably will. So at least as far as the American media is, and like NBC, they're very big on this whole like having a family, like watching the part, showing where the families are having watch parties at home or being in the showing them in the arena and all of that. I feel like up to some point it's okay, because then it helps you feel like, oh, these are the people that care about these human beings and you're seeing them celebrate or whatever. But there's also a line where it gets intrusive. But there's always been that kind of, the fluff pieces where you go interview their family and friends or whatever. And I think that feels a little bit more normal when it's like under kind of controlled circumstances. But what I want to know is this potential documentary that they were talking about at the ISU Congress, and if that's really going to happen for the Olympic season, because that kind of thing could be really great for the popularity of the sport. But I also understand why a lot of athletes might not have wanted to be participating in it as a distraction. So
I think it would be really good. I just think that it depends who has the final say. Like if it's, for example, a Netflix documentary, if they have the final say and it doesn't go through like a bunch of like coaches saying I don't want this out, or like skaters saying I don't want this out, and they use what has already been filmed, it would be interesting, the narratives that they can create from that. But I think if it's very focused or like very specific, then it will be different.
Yeah, I think that to the point, like if they don't really want to be on TV, then there's a certain amount of definitely consent involved in all of that. It's definitely something that I think a lot about with like, it can be like, oh, please show your emotions for me because that makes a good story, and like there's a line there where you try not to ask people who are not, especially not the athlete or not on like while they're performing, to not have to like perform their emotions for you. And it's definitely something that I think about in the mix zone. I remember that from the was that just
The
in the
COVID
COVID
one.
year? Yeah. It's kind of fun.
I really like that because it was like surrounded them, and it was a really good moment. I believe that's all the. Oh wait, I saw Russell saying Diallo Max's free skate sounds interesting, which is some Hans Zimmer music, I believe, from the Blue Planet. One of those songs was titled at least. And then their short program is a Crazy in Love remix, which I'm interested to see the remix.
I am
They
very
also
excited.
had like sorry. Go ahead.
Go.
No, because last season they also had like a remix type of music for the show, for the planet, and it worked really well with them. So I'm very much excited to see the Crazy in Love remix. But Beyonce is very much in brand for the new season so far.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of Beyonce for this season. I am very excited for the fact that we're about to start the season for real, and it feels like we've been in like speculation mode, and it's like, it's actually about to happen. Because between the June, I know we've just had a challenger and we've already had some things, but like between the Junior Grand Prix starting this week and then the John Nix is at next week. I'm going to that just pairs competition in New York, but it has a really nice field, and especially that it has pretty much the entire U.S. pairs field minus Valentina Max is there. There's, I think, 10 or 11 pairs teams from the US at this competition. So it's going to be really interesting. Speaking of, host spots and a lot of, there's only going to be 2 spots for Worlds this year. So just the jockeying among all of these teams is going to be really interesting. So I'm excited about that. And also a couple of the teams that I just got to watch in training and interview. So Rebecca and Filippo, I love both of their programs. I'm very excited to see them. The Finnish team, Melania and Filippo, are also going to be there. And then the Crawfords, who I just also got to see in Oberstdorf. And so it was fun. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing how much they've all improved and how things have grown in the last month. So I will be, excited to be reporting from there next week.
And we're excited to have someone to be able to talk about it at least, because there's like obviously no filming, though I'm hoping a couple of people might film stuff. But I know we had a note on the when applying for like a photographer that the hockey glass can't come down, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, we'll see.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird rink. It's a small rink. It's all of, it's got the hockey glass up. It's right in the middle of Manhattan. It's a funny thing. I am excited but I'm excited that it's a challenger this year and that it's got such a strong field. So that will be fun. And then I feel like while we're talking about things that are coming up, like we'll have people at Lombardia and Nebelhorn. And so that's all coming together. Then I'm going to Skate America. So like we're going to have some great coverage this season, which is very fun. But I am super excited for all of our live streams that we've got coming up for the Grand Prix, because we are starting to get our guests lined up, and we're really, really lucky. We're going to get a bunch of skaters that are like currently, some people have not been on our live streams before, and some current competitive skaters that are kind of going to come join us, as well as some returning guests. And so anyway, I'm excited to when we'll be able to announce that.
It's definitely very exciting. I was sorting out like our sheet of everyone that's going to a competition season, and I believe we'll have someone at every ISU, like the bigger events. So all the Grand Prix, all the championships events, I believe we'll have someone at either photography or written press. So I think that's like really exciting.
Yeah, so as I feel like I should also just say, like, as per usual, if you think of questions that you want us to try to ask skaters or coaches, or things that people you'd like to see interviewed that maybe haven't gotten covered as much, definitely feel free to keep sending that stuff our way. It actually really helps to know that there's like audience and an interest for people. That definitely, I find that super motivating as I'm going through it. So yeah. Oh, and I was also going to say, yes, Julia and Matthias, thanks, Russell, you are doing the tango themed program. I've not seen it yet or anything, but I did watch them in the show in Champery, just getting their show program and talk to them a little bit. And I am really excited for it. It was fun to see them perform outside of a competition setting, because I felt like I got to really connect with their skating a bit more. And so having had that one experience, now I feel extra excited to see them branching into a new something that'll show a little bit of fire.
And I think it's also something that is like, it's very them. I feel like I remember them mentioning that they really enjoyed the tango program that they did. So for them to return to Argentine tango, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
I did speak to Lila and Lewis and Vivian James. I will be working on writing this up over the next week or so before both of their first competitions, at least.
And I did 17 interviews while I was traveling this summer, so they are slowly coming out. We are going, I think the next one, so the one with Koshiro just came out, and I think the next one will be with Daria and Mikhail, which I think I will have the video ready to share with that later this week, and so hopefully before they have their Junior Grand Prix debut. But lots more of those to come. I did lots of short video interviews with folks this summer. All right, enough teasing of things. Are we? Should we call it?
We're good to end the stream. Thank you all for watching and joining us. I hope you're all back in the mood to watch skating. Obviously, the Junior Grand Prix starts next week, end-ish, like Thursday or Friday. If they are moving it to the main ISU skating channel, if you haven't seen that announcement, so it won't be on the Junior Grand Prix channel anymore. Ted and Mark apparently teased some exciting things, so who knows what's going to happen with that. But yeah, if you'd also like to support us, I'll plug our Patreon as well. It'll be linked in the description. You can join for the lowest tier of $1, I think, per month. But yeah, if not, just like the video, because that helps as well. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks, I guess. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.